Shoot on Sight by James H. S. Moynahan. Clues Detective, July 1935. Cornwell, huddled in the gloom of a tenement doorway, took his eyes from the yellow-lighted window of the brick building across the street. The uniformed patrolman at his shoulder looked at the homicide man with eyes dark with surmise. "You going to try it, Frank?" The patrolman's whisper was husky with excitement, and Cornwell, looking up and down the shabby, ill-lighted street, said without turning, "Might as well get it over with. You think it's him, all right? It couldn't miss. I've been looking at that mug on circulars, police dodgers, and in the back of the department magazine till I see it in my sleep. Shoot on Sight. Why, they've even christened him Shoot on Sight Freeman." Horgan, the patrolman, looked at the tenement opposite, where the shade was down in the lighted window on the second floor. He muttered fervently, "Not bad advice either. That's one baby I'd never give an even break." Huh. He looked questioningly at the homicide man. Cornwell, staring out into the street, was frowning. "Yeah, only it don't happen to be so simple." "How do you mean?" "It can always be killed while resisting arrest, can't it?" "Don't tell me you're going to walk in on that killer and try to argue him into coming along." Cornwell's scowl was pained now. "All right, tell me how I am going to keep him alive long enough to get a confession out of him. Then, shoot him down, and what happens to the Evans kid?" "They'll burn him for the Barrows machine job." Horgan's eyes were wider. "You mean Freeman turned that job?" "Turned the job, shot down the 2 express guards, and went south with the payroll, all by himself." "Hell, Frank, I didn't know that." Horgan's eyes were dark with amazement. "Why, the buzzard must be crazy to take on a job like that without a helper." "Crazy?" "Of course he's crazy. That's what makes jobs like that possible." "Can you picture any ordinary hood, screwy as they are, tackling a setup like that?" "Of course not. That's what Freeman counts on. The guards think they're safe, and they relax. Freeman doesn't waste time sticking them up or taking their pistols away. He'll tell you that's the kind of soft-hearted stuff that gets lots of the boys a reserved seat, with straps to hold them in." "Well, this isn't getting it done." He stirred his thick shoulders, looked grimly across the street. Horgan said hesitantly, "You are not just being sentimental about that Evans kid, are you, Frank?" "Course. I know Peg Evans is a swell kid, and you like her a lot. But that doesn't say her brother can't pull a fast one, does it?" "Only that I know the kid, and he's the last one in the world to turn a job like that one. Hell, there aren't many men, even the real bad ones, who walk up to 2 guys just minding their own business and let 'em have it bang, bang, just like that. A hood's got to be pretty low for that, and a natural killer to boot. This Evans kid ain't made that way, that's all I need to know." "To hell with the witnesses," Horgan said doubtfully. "Well, I sure hope you are right." His eyes got sober. "For heaven's sake, now be careful, Frank. Don't be a fool. The kid's not worth it." Horgan caught only the muttered word, "sister," as Cornwell started across the street. The patrolman shook his head sadly. He took out his service revolver, spun the cylinder, looked up at the lighted window across the street, and settled down to wait. Cornwell, in the dark doorway opposite, took out his own pistol and looked up at the head of the flight, the dimly lighted outlines disappearing into gloom above. A baby was fretting somewhere in the house. The air in the halls was stale, heavy. He climbed the steep, creaking stairway, with its runner of cheap oilcloth worn through to the wood beneath. On the second floor, he paused, listened. A woman snarled something in a screaming voice, and the baby's cries stopped abruptly. Cornwell went down the hall on tiptoe. Outside the 2 doors at the end, he hesitated. No light showed beneath the door on the left. He crossed to the other door, put an ear to the panel, and a board creaked sharply under his weight. He drew back, quivering. The room beyond the door became absolutely still, the murmur of sound breaking off sharply to a tense silence. Cornwell stood stiff, not breathing. The line of light under the door went out. Cornwell went downstairs, found an unused mailbox stuffed with circulars. He pulled out a pink throwaway of a furniture sale, went up the stairs, and poked the paper noisily under the door. Making no attempt to walk silently, he crossed to the stairs and started up. On the landing, 4 steps up, he waited in the corner, hidden from the apartment door by the edge of the dumbwaiter wall. A door opened above, letting out a blur of voices. A man and a girl came down the stairs. The man glanced at Cornwell, met the detective's level gaze, and looked away self-consciously. The girl, Boda, measured him with hard, agate eyes that had questions in them. The couple, not talking now, filed down past Cornwell. The man took the girl's elbow. They walked intimately to the end of the hall, and the sound of their disappearing feet grew fainter on the creaking stair. Cornwell glanced around the corner. The paper was still under the door, and the strip between door and sill still dark. He kept his eyes on the paper. The dumbwaiter rumbled in the shaft behind the wall. The paper below the door stirred, was pulled in, out of sight. Cornwell tensed. The light went on. When the door opened, Cornwell shot across the hall. The yellow-haired girl who had opened it cautiously smothered a startled little cry, tried to slam it shut. His foot in the jamb held it open. "Just a second, miss." The girl, seeing she could not shut him out, backed slowly into a living room, heavy with cigar smoke. Newspapers were scattered on the overstuffed velour suit, and about a pink-shaded floor lamp smoked from a lighted cigarette burning on a cigar stand. A wallpaper screen half hid a bedroom beyond. The girl herself was perhaps 20. The blue satin pajamas she wore were expensive and went well with her yellow hair. She wore it in a loose, rippling mop-ear. Pendants twinkled at her small lobes. Mascara and blue shadow made her eyes a startling black contrast. Her nose was straight, her lips large, carefully rouged to a vivid tomato red. She was slender, lithe-limbed, and worldly wise in the very poise of her retreating figure. Her retreat had been mechanical. Sheer surprise, perhaps. Control returned. She stopped, barring his path stubbornly. "Hey, where do you think you are going?" Cornwell took out his pistol. His big hand on her silken shoulder pushed her aside. "Take it easy, sister. I am Law. W here is Freeman." She flung off his hand savagely. "Take your hands off me." "You get out of here. Who do you think you are, crashing in here trying to get fresh with me? You ain't show me no plaster. Go on. Scram!" She strained against him, pushing with futile, red-nailed hands, reckless of the gun in his fist. Cornwell held the pistol back out of her reach and tried to shove her aside with his left arm. She fought him, striking at his face with sharp, curbing fingers. Her strength was a girl's strength, but she was white with fury. She had 2 hands to Cornwell's, 1 free hand, and she did not have to keep one eye on the regions beyond the screen that hid the bedroom. A shove sent her spinning. Her knees struck the divan, and she fell onto it backward. Before she could twist free, Cornwell was sitting on her legs, a hand gripping her straining wrists. She bit him. He rubbed his knuckles in a panting face. She reared up. He let go her wrists and held her chin up, pushing against it with the heel of his palm, his fingertips nipping, her nostrils shutting off breath. "Cut it out, sister," he growled, between heavy breaths. "I saw him come in. I am taking him along anyway, and this way I am only apt to hurt you. If I let you loose, will you act nice?" "Don't say it if you don't mean it. I won't fool with you next time." Her face was dark red, her eyes white and bulging. She tried to nod her head. Cornwell took his hand away from her face and her sobbing lungs sucked in air. He stood up. Remember, I can't afford to fool with you. You know it. His eyes darted to the bedroom, returned to her face. The lipstick was smeared on her sullen mouth. Her eyes were resentful, but rebellion had gone out of them. Get up out of there, Cornwell said. What for? Cornwell waved his gun at the bedroom. I don't want to shoot your boyfriend if I can help it. I'm taking him anyway, whether I have to shoot him or not, but you can do him a favor by telling him to get smart and not try to start anything. In the first place, you are walking in there ahead of me, and it'll be a lot nicer for you that way. And in the second place, if I do shoot him, I am going to wing him. There is a kid in stir, due to burn for a job your boyfriend turned. You wouldn't want to play with Freeman if you knew he was letting this kid burn for his rap, would you? Nuts, she sneered. You are so damn smart. Go ahead. Let's see you find him. She stood up, put a hand to her hair, and looked at him from under her lashes. And if you don't find him, we'll talk about what's going to happen to you for busting your way in here and trying to slip over a fast one. She blew out breath in a sharp laugh. Come on, smarthead. Her tone was overly confident. Cornwell glanced sharply at her face. Doubt flashed across his eyes, faded to impassivity as she looked up. Go on, move, he ordered coldly. She gave him a tantalizing glance and walked deliberately to the screen that hid the bedroom. Cornwell's gun lifted the faintest trace, tilted. He tensed, started forward. Oh, don't be afraid, she cooed sweetly. There is nothing here to hurt you. She was shoving the screen back boisterously. Don't mind the bed, it's not made up. I wasn't expecting company, she added under her breath for him to overhear. What company? Cornwell, looking not too comfortable, was right behind her as she flung open the door leading to the next bedroom, directly behind the first and in line with the other two rooms. The room was dark, and his searching eyes could make out nothing in the confused shadows before him. What you hear is the light, he growled. Little boy afraid of the dark? Never mind, Mama Fix. She stepped boldly inside the room, tugged an invisible cord. The room sprang into light. Another bedroom, also empty. Take a good look, nosy boy, here. She flung open the built-in clothes closet. Nothing up the sleeve, no mirrors, just what you see. Cornwell looked dispiritedly into the closet, which was filled with dresses redolent of the heavy scent she favored. She waited at the next door, opened it with a pressure of lean silken hip, and invited, Come along, Papa. I want you to be sure he's not hiding in the wash tubs. She jerked on the light, said in a stilted, sarcastic tone, And this is the kitchen. Electric icebox, brand new gas stove, new plumbing. She lifted the cover of the tubs. And that's the bathroom. Maybe I'd better show you that too. Cornwell, peering out the closed window through the fire escape, said dryly, Your kitchen's cold, though. How's the heat? Here. I won't take it if the janitor's service is bad. She darted a sharp glance at him. As if she resented his encroachment on her humorous role, she said simply, And that's the bathroom. Take it or leave it. He poked his head inside, saw that it was empty, and nodded. And now, she said, facing him, her figure slouched arrogantly on one hip, let's see your shield number. Cornwell, red in the face, his lips tight, took out the badge and held it, cupped in his palm, for her to see. She noted the number, her lips moving, vindictively purposeful. Okay, she said. Now, if you've seen everything you wanted, suppose you chase yourself out of here fast. She stood scowling at him, Her upper lip curved bitterly. Cornwell looked at the venomous mask that was her face and took an uncertain step backward. "Made the sneak, huh?" He nodded. "Out the window and down the fire escape. That's why the kitchen's cold. Okay, sister. See how far? Heist him." The voice behind him was low, hoarse, deliberate. Cornwell whirled, shot, and the girl was tearing at his bucking pistol. The slug ripped a brief white furrow in the painted floor. Cornwell, unable to lift his pistol with the girl jerking at it, looked into the round black hole of Freeman's pistol pointed at his face. He held his breath. The girl lifted the pistol from his nerveless hand. "No, Howie, no!" she screamed. "Not here!" Freeman, not moving the pistol, said in the same flat voice, his eyes burning into Cornwell's. "Not here, but somewhere." The woman's hat was grotesque. On his too large head, the leg of mutton sleeves of the woman's coat bulged ridiculously with his beefy shoulders. The bright rouge on his thin lips was smeared absurdly where his wrist had brushed his mouth, but there was nothing grotesque, ridiculous, or absurd about the look with which he fixed the detective. "Get moving, copper. It's all in the game." Cornwell looked at him a second without speaking. Then he shrugged. "You got the bulge on me, Howie." "I am not crying. I'd have given it to you if I'd had to. Only before I go along, I want to know one thing. What about that kid they're going to burn for the Barrows machine job?" "You turned that. Howie, you know you did." "What's one more rap to you?" "Are you going to let me see that straightened out before I go? Or are you going to let the kid stand a rap for you that won't make any difference to you if you are picked up?" "I'll stand up and take mine like a man. What about you, Howie?" The girl, crouched against the icebox, was staring at them. Freeman did not look at her. Ah, he said flatly. "The hell with that stuff. What do I want to go messing with trouble for when I didn't pull the caper? Is it my fault the kid's got a bum rap?" "I suppose I never stood any bum raps that you bulls tried to hang on me, and you come around asking me to take the fall for this kid I never seen in my life. What the hell, he'll beat the fall. Look at the falls I beat. If I'd turned the caper it'd be different, but I was miles from the damn joint when it was pulled." "Wasn't I, Rita?" the girl said. "Yeah." Dully. Her eyes did not meet his. Cornwell looked levelly at him. "You pulled that job, Howie, and you know it, and she knows it, and I know it. If you want to be like that, and she wants to be like that about it, come on, let me get it over with. It won't be so bad getting off the same earth with a couple of people that are so," he swallowed. Freeman protested, with a bluffness that he tried hard to make sound convincing. "What the hell? You got me wrong. I got an alibi. I was on the train to Buffalo that very afternoon." He swung righteously on the girl. "Wasn't I, kid?" She nodded, but did not speak. "I suppose you got somebody that can swear you were there," Cornwell said. "Why, she," he indicated the girl, "was with me." He scowled, and, let's see. I got a slip, come to think of it. We ate in the diner, and I got a slip. Dunno why I saved it." His voice dwindled off. Cornwell looked interested. "You mean it's got the date on it?" "Sure, May 17th. When that Barrows joint was knocked over, I said to myself right away, I bet they try to hang that one on me. So I sat down and figured where I was that day, and I remembered about the slip, and sure enough I hadn't thrown it away. So I was aces. You don't believe me, do you? The slip shouldn't lie, Cornwell said. You got it here? Think I could find it? Rita, go look in my stuff in the second drawer. See if you can find that slip. You know the one I mean. She slid past him, went through the door. The pistol dangled loosely in her right hand. Cornwell looked at the man with the gun. I suppose there is no use my telling you you're a sucker to go through with this, Howie. Freeman said nothing. A heist guy is one thing. Howie, a cop killer's something else. Go through with this. And you slept your last good night's sleep. That flat-foot-on plant across the street wasn't so smart. I walked right out past him in this rig and he didn't give me a tumble. We'll get you in the end, though. Howie, you just tough it up for yourself by knocking me off. There is a... The girl came back into the kitchen. She was walking swiftly, and her face was curiously white and stiff. She put the slip into Freeman's hand. She did not say anything. Give it to him, Freeman said, not taking his eyes off the man in front of him. Cornwell, taking the slip, glanced at her face, saw the indrawn nostrils, the tight lips. He glanced at the slip, looked up swiftly to catch the girl's eyes locked with Freeman's. Freeman's neck was a dark red. His eyes left the girl's steady gaze, shifted to Cornwell. A sharp gleam woke in Cornwell's eyes. To cover it, he lifted the slip to the light overhead. It was the usual dining car cashier's receipt, a sales slip listing the items ordered, the amount, the number of portions, a carbon duplicate. Opposite the serial number, Cornwell's eyes scrutinized the date. He seemed stunned, but, he faltered, "This can't be right." "You?" Freeman snorted. "Can't, but it is." Cornwell shook his head dazedly. He examined the date again. "Hasn't been erased. That date and your signature would be smudged some if you'd erased on that paper." His hands dropped. All right," Freeman said harshly. "Now get." Cornwell was examining the slip again. He said in a mild voice, turning to the girl, "Only those 2 cigars aren't going to look so good when you try to tell the judge you were with him." A startled look leaped into the girl's eyes. She flung on her companion. "See, a smart monkey you are. I told you," she glared at him. Her fury seemed out of proportion to its cause. Freeman did not look at her. "What the hell?" he told Cornwell. "I just thought it'd look better if I said it was a girl I had with me." "So what if it was a guy?" Cornwell's eyes, dark and searching, darted from the girl's face to Freeman's, back to the girl's sullen mouth again. He said, thoughtfully watching Freeman, "Why, nothing." And suddenly, with apparent irrelevance, "If anybody says you were cheating, at least you can't blame the cops for it, Howie." Freeman's eyes were wide. "What the hell are you talking about?" The girl was staring at Cornwell. He went on, not looking at her. "I don't know what you told her, but can I help it if it comes out you were lying?" He turned to the girl, sneered. "Didn't you find something back there just now when you went through his stuff? Because I don't want to be the first one to smart you up." He tapped the slip in his hand. "Or did you really believe this dream yourself?" Her twisting body knocked the broom over. She caught it, shoved it back in the corner beside the refrigerator, and came forward, shoving the pistol at him. Her eyes were slitted. "Mad. What are you trying to make out?" she said between her teeth. "Do you know something, or are you just talking blind?" "Now, Rita," Freeman began. Cornwell's grin, stiff and mirthless as it was, stayed on his face. "If Howie hasn't told you," he said, "you are not going to get it out of me. Anyway, it'll all come out by and by, when he tries to bamboozle the boys in the detective division with that phony slip. I always thought he was half smart, and now I know it. Pass it in," he told Freeman, "and see what happens to your alibi." The girl, holding the pistol out of reach, pushed her face at Cornwell. "You mean, you know the slip isn't real?" "What makes you say so?" Cornwell looked incredulously at her. "You don't mean to tell me you fell for it?" she said sulkily. "Never mind that. Tell me how you know, hey?" Cornwell said. "Look out, how you put that gun around. He backed against the refrigerator. Maybe Howie'd like to know too. Save him making a sap of himself when they take him. All right, I won't tell you how I know it's phony, but I'll tell you how they'll know down at headquarters it's a phony. Why, didn't anybody tell you he was with her? You didn't really think he was on that train. Hell! Sister, look at his face. Hey, what are you? Freeman's eyes jerked irresistibly to the girl's face. Back to Cornwell. He shot past her, the gun roaring in the small room. Cornwell was in motion the instant Freeman's eyes had left his face. Freeman's first slug raked the wall behind him. The second shot skidded off the refrigerator Cornwell. Behind it swung up the broom and shoved the bristled end into the girl's back, crowding her into Freeman and spoiling his third shot. The girl staggered forward from the force of the blow, and Cornwell rushed forward, swung the bristled end of the broom. It slammed against Freeman's head, knocked him down, the girl twisted. Shot once Cornwell could not stop. His heavy body slammed into her, threw her against the wall, the wind knocked out of her. He twisted at her pistol. Freeman, on the floor, half reared up, lined his pistol hurriedly and shot hastily at Cornwell. Afraid of hitting the girl, he missed. Cornwell jerked the pistol from the spitting, biting girl. He shoved it at Freeman, took careful aim, squeezed. The bullet shattered Freeman's right shoulder. He went over backward, his head struck the tiling under the gas stove, and he lay thrashing and twitching like a dying hen. Cornwell, panting, combed hair out of his eyes with a shaking hand. He crossed to the wounded man, lifted his pistol and pocketed it. He turned to the screaming girl. "Hut down, sister, he's not worth it. You killed him," she bawled. "You've killed him now." "Not much, I killed him." "That's all I was afraid of. I thought I'd never hear that old Betsy speak. I couldn't afford to kill him, though. That's why I took so long. I wanted to save him to speak his little piece. Winged him nice. He'll be okay. They can patch him up long enough to fry." "And will he fry when they see that slip?" "Once and for all," she said. "What's wrong with that slip? I am ready to believe it's a phony, because somebody swears they saw him in town here with this Jane that same night. Like a sucker, I believed him. Though, what's wrong with it? How can you tell he wasn't on that train?" "I can't tell yet. But if my hunch is good, it won't take long to find out. He probably swiped the slip or had a date at the head. I told you he was a sap. What good is a phony date with the serial number still on the slip to prove when it was really used?" End of shoot on site by James H. S. Moynahan.